Hey, y'all, welcome back to Str8 Talk No BS. I'm Jay. I'm your host tonight. Ladies, introduce yourself.
I'm Tanya. What's going on, y'all?
Hey, everybody. Good evening. I'm Cynthia.
All right.
Okay. And then we have Taz joining us.
Coming on in.
Ooh,
How you doing
Lord
tonight,
have
Taz?
mercy. Hey, I'm here, man. I'm
Uh-uh.
here. How are y'all? Well,
Good, good.
We're
listen.
good.
Did y'all get my message?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, y'all, let me tell y'all. Tonight we're going to be talking about some of our experiences with holy rollers. I'm sure y'all done had some kind of encounters or something with holy rollers, right?
Oh, let me tell you something.
You know how they try to come in and try to judge you for the way that you live in your life or whatever.
Okay.
And first of all, I want to say though, we're not going to bash anybody. We're not bashing anybody. These are just our opinions. So anybody out there, don't get offended. We're just sharing our opinions.
I think it's an important topic or something to discuss anyway, because I don't know about y'all, but I think majority of people have been in a situation to where the judgment, I don't know, maybe it's just easier to find yourself judging, but it's the people who act as if I have a perfect life, everything's perfectly together. You should be living the way that I'm living or whatever, according to this particular standard. And because you're not, you're this, and that. And that's like, okay, why are you passing judgment like that? How are you going to bring anybody to the faith or bring anybody to hear anything that could be positive to enhance or better their life if you're putting them down and passing the judgment?
That was always my question that I had to most of the holy rollers. I had to ask them, no, I'm just saying, okay, let me stop with the names, but if your circle consists of nothing but saints, who are you saving? They're already saved.
There you go.
So how are you saving anybody?
Look.
Nay, what's your take on this?
This is my personal opinion. And like they said at the top of the show, this is not to offend anyone. But in that Bible that everybody reads, whether it's the King James Version or whatever version you have, whatever religion you have, each Bible that I've ever read said don't pass judgment. You know, the only person that can judge you or the only sanctified person that can judge you anyway is Christ. But yet in that community, in the Christian community, they are the most critic of people that will judge. In my personal opinion, from what I've seen, I'm not speaking on what somebody else told me. I'm speaking on me and how I had to go and ask for help. And because I wasn't a member of a certain church or because my kids were not a part of their youth group, you know, my children couldn't be helped. Now, with all that being said, again, it's not slandering Christianity or any faith for that matter. But the key thing is how can you be a Christian or how can you be of any faith, but as human, you pass judgment? I'm going to say what I always say. We were born into sin. We're going to die in sin. No one on this earth, including the people up in the pulpits, are perfect.
Now, I have, okay, so you said that you asked for help. You went to a church. And was this a church that you were a part of or your family was a part of?
It was a church that I was a part of, that I grew up in, and it was a church that I was also visiting. But at that time, because I was visiting and I was not a member, they couldn't give me the
official member.
They couldn't give me the equal help that they would give a member. And I never understood that for a mother of 3 children. And all I was trying to do was feed my kids. But because I'm not a part of your church or your flock, I should say, you can help me, but you can't help me fully. I didn't understand that dynamic.
Now that don't make any sense.
So they turned you away because you wasn't a member?
Because I was not a member. We can give you a little assistance, but we can't help you fully because you're not a member of this.
I'm like this. You're gonna give assistance. You're gonna give help. And I mean, who are you not to? Even if you weren't just in the church, that just goes for anybody. Period. On that part, but especially in that light, because you're looking for them to help you. They're in a position. You're going to them for help, and if they say, "Oh, we can help you a little bit, but not all the way," just because you're not a member of my church, I think that's not right.
When you go to a church, you know, for clothing, shelter, food, or whatever, and they in turn
I'll tell you my experience.
Jay, y'all freezing.
Shit, freezing. They froze.
Yeah. Well, y'all, we got some technical difficulties going on, but chime in, let us know.
The crazy part is can hear you.
Tell them. We can still hear you.
We can hear you guys perfectly. That's crazy.
We might be frozen, but we can still hear you. I'm sorry, we're out on the beach right now.
Oh,
sorry, I'm late.
Hey, welcome to the discussion. Y'all know what we're
Hello,
talking
audience,
about tonight.
everybody. That's Swalo down there in the left-hand corner. Welcome. Okay, Nate, continue.
Oh, hold on. I got to get this light out of y'all face some kind of way. Okay, there we go.
You work on that. Nate, what was you saying?
I just didn't understand the dynamic of asking. Like they were literally asking me for my lease, a light bill, something of a bill, and then when my son turned 18 and I was still needing assistance, they asked me, did my son have any type of job, part-time job or anything like that where he could help provide food or assistance to any bill. So to me, that kind of just turned me off because nowhere in the Bible did it say that Christ stayed up in a church. You know what I'm saying? He walked around. He was out there with the sinners. He was out there doing whatever he could do. And y'all, please, 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 I'm not on here like I'm some sanctified Christian because I'm not. I'm a cussing Christian and I sin every single day of my life.
But guess what, Nate? Guess what? That's the thing. You're admitting to what you do. You're human. I think it becomes a problem when you got folks who are sitting up there, like I said, up here on this high pedestal, everybody looking at them like, or they're portraying this image as if I'm perfect. And you should be living to this particular standard. And if you're not, then I'm judging you and you're this, that, and this.
Or you're going to hell.
It's like, no, you are saying I'm a cussing Christian, but this is who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm human. Because anybody sit up here, anybody come to me and tell me that a pastor or a deacon or a whoever, you look, I don't know all the titles and names. I'm just saying, if you're going to tell me that you're not a human being and at home or in other different situations that you don't cuss or that you haven't slipped up and said something foul or just told a lie, whatever. I mean, that's not true. You're human. You're human beings. So that's that. I'm sorry, y'all. Look, I don't went on and on, but Swalo Francis, I mean, I was
going to tell my whole story.
Oh, Jay, I'm sorry. Go back.
Okay. Anyway, I was telling my story. I was saying that the encounter that I had was with one of my family members. And they were telling me that I don't praise God because I celebrate Christmas, because I celebrate my kid's birthday, because we go trick-or-treating on Halloween, or because we listen to a certain genre of music, that you don't praise God and you go into hell. And also your prayers are being unheard because you're not calling his name. You're not saying, Yahweh are the most high. So, of course, I almost said who it was, but this person, they wasn't working at the time. So I had to tell this person, well, did you read the verse about if you don't work the land, you don't eat from the land? So why are you eating? You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to know.
Right. What'd you say? You shouldn't even be able to partake.
I'm like, so many people, they always can tell you all the verses that apply to you or pertain to you, but they skip over those ones that has something to do with them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
What about you, Taz?
We now. Well, the only thing that I actually encountered, of course, is, oh, you shouldn't wear this, or you shouldn't, you know what I'm saying, be talking like that, or it's for me, it's more so the fashion show part. I don't know where in the Bible that says you got to dress up to go serve the Lord. I don't know where it says that the church became a fashion show, a runway. You got Miss Parker over here with this big old head girl. The head got all kind of flowers in it, looking bodacious. It's just good, you know what I'm saying? Then you got her looking down her nose over here at Miss Bertha, because Miss Bertha had all torn up.
Why she talking about Miss Bertha though?
I don't know.
Where Miss Bertha come from? Miss Bertha, y'all know
I don't know. I don't know. But the thing of it is they make it all about a fashion show instead of making it about the word of God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody has to be dressed, or you can't wear a skirt too far above your knees. Or, you know what I'm saying? I remember when we were little, the one saying that everybody said that I could remember hearing people say was, come as you are.
I remember that. I mean, but you have to honor. You have to live like that. I mean, honor that and be true to that statement, because they're not true. They're the same ones.
The thing of it is When you say come as you are, you have to remember everything they taught us about Jesus. He went to everybody, no matter who they were, what their job was, what they was doing. He didn't care if it was a prostitute. He still loved her. The easiest thing for humans to do is hate. The hardest thing it is for us to do is love thy neighbor.
I got a question though, y'all. Do y'all think that the church people be stealing and lying and?
Oh my God!
Do you really think that's true though? Because I said it earlier.
I know 100%. Because, like I said, I have one of them people that I knew that
I'm
you preaching to me. You preaching to me about how my life is wrong and this and that and how I'm not praising God. But at nighttime, you breaking into the church to get groceries.
Just saying.
You breaking into the church to get groceries.
Just saying.
But I ain't saying no names.
You dumb.
But anyway, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that.
You were just saying that because I want to play this video for everybody. I'm going to show this video. Audience, y'all tell me what y'all think about this here.
Yeah.
Well, good evening, Paul. Pastor George Gregory is accused of engaging in lewd behavior inside of his car late last night in New Homestead. Someone saw the alleged behavior, then called 911. When police arrived, they say they found two men in a car on Beachland Street. Inside, police spotted a man in the front seat completely naked and bound with nylon rope. Police say Gregory was in the back seat. When police asked Gregory what was going on, they say he told them, quote, "We were just playing." The man in the front passenger seat told police the behavior going on inside of the car was consensual. Police questioned Gregory some more. They say he stated, quote, "They meet up from time to time to play with each other." Police told Gregory he was on a public street in clear view of several homes, and police say Gregory replied by saying, quote, "I know." We went to Gregory's home and he says the police have it all wrong.
Purpose?
Were you in the car with someone else?
I was counseling a young man with a drug problem, okay? And it did turn strange, but it wasn't my doing, okay? And I was adamant that I'm not participating in that way, okay? And so that's when the police pulled up and they assumed things, but I'm standing by my story. It's not true. But I will deny on a stack of Bibles with God as my witness that I did nothing.
Y'all.
Suelo, I'm coming to you on that one. What you think about that story?
He's lying. He's lying. I mean, you can tell, dude, he's sugary. He has too much sugar in his tank. And you know, it's kind of crazy.
You know what? I am not going to hell with you. I am not going to hell with you.
But it's kind of crazy that y'all would have me on here, you know, and thank y'all for having me on y'all shows, you know, every time y'all had me on here. But I used to live with a guy that was a punk, and he had a boyfriend. But now his boyfriend was a preacher, and his boyfriend was a preacher in a church in Oak Cliff. And the thing about it is, every time they went to church together, they would announce to each other, well, everybody in the congregation, that they were uncle and nephew. That's my nephew.
Oh,
this is my uncle. But they were actually lovers. So it happens. Now, this was going on back in 2002, 2003. So, I mean, it's been happening for a long time. And I happened to see it myself. And just like I told him, I'm like, you know, you're my homeboy. Thank you. You know, we're roommates, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to hell with you. And I moved out, and I hadn't talked to him since. So, yeah, it happens a lot.
You're like, why lie about it? That's the whole point of, but why lie?
Because society, they worry about society. And then just like this guy said, he put his hand on a stack of Bibles. That was so wrong. That
Did
is
y'all hear him
so
say that?
wrong. Yeah, he said he was going to put his hand. He would put his hand on a stack of Bibles, but you can just look at him and tell that he's so fruity himself. So I mean,
And I don't have a problem with that.
I think what it is that we hold them up to a higher standard.
So now
to where we forget that they're of the flesh. A lot of people in the church, you know what I'm saying? So we don't allow them to be human.
Exactly.
Because
we dehumanize them because
so
we're
many
holding them up so high, like they're
so
God.
many people say being gay
point.
is such a sin. Being gay is such a sin, but being gay is not a sin because hell, we're all born into sin. The only sin that I know about is not accepting Jesus Christ as your Father and Savior. But you can go out here, you can do whatever you want to do as long as you repent, ask for forgiveness, and everything else. You accept Jesus Christ as your Father and Savior. You got a ticket into heaven. While everybody's talking about this is a sin, that's a sin, judgmental is being a sin.
I'm not gonna get on. I'm not gonna get on what's a sin and what's not a sin, but I am gonna say as far as the homosexual part. But I will say that you can't keep doing the same thing and saying that okay, I know it's a sin, but I'm not sinning because I asked for forgiveness. You know what I mean? You can't do that. So it's not just as long as you ask for forgiveness. You can't keep doing the same thing. You'll always be forgiven. But
you know what?
Anyway, Taz,
what did you say?
Go ahead. See, Swallow. Sorry.
I was gonna say, as far as when you say we hold them, to a higher standard, putting them up on that pedestal.
That's
okay, that's the same thing with all these these rappers and these singers. It's like once you put them up on this pedestal, like Tiger Woods and all them, it's like they could do no wrong, and people will stand behind these people, and it's like they build them up. And the minute they make a mistake, like you said, they forget that they're human. They're human just like us. They are of the flesh. As soon as they make that mistake, they quick to tear them down. They want to snatch them down, but you put them there. You the ones who made them. You held them up here. So now you want to beat them down and tear them down because they made a mistake. He's not there. Those people are not robots. Those people walk on two legs just like we do. They go to sleep and wake up just like we do. They eat and they shit just like we do. They do exactly. The only difference between us and them is a job title.
That's it. And that is the truth. Holding someone to a different standard now puts a different type of level of stress on them.
That's right.
So now I have to live this image, this fake facade for fear or judgment from others. So it's not necessarily that they're
just to be able to live a peaceful life. They have to live a fake life.
This is like
now that's a different way to look at it. That's another perspective. That is a good way to look at that.
This is like what's the guy's name?
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Donnie McClurkin. He was the same way. He went in and he had his homosexuality removed from his body, and now he's in church. But do I believe that? No. But that's just my opinion.
That's interesting. Now, how does that? That's a choice. I have no. Okay, that's right. A whole different subject right there. But
But that's
what you got to say.
Thing, not living your life how you want to because you are in church.
That's true. Yeah. Okay.
The only thing that I can notate on that is like, I love church. I really do. I love church. I love Christianity all together as one. But what people need to realize, or the message that I will put out there, is you have to have your own personal relationship with Christ. That man or that woman up in that pulpit cannot get you in them golden gates, wherever heaven may be. If you don't seek him for yourself to get into the kingdom, then they're not guilty. You're guilty. Because I do believe God is a jealous God. With that being said, she said Donnie McClurkin. Well, Kirk Franklin and his son got into it, and he made a public announcement apologizing for his speech and how he was and what he said. Me personally, I don't think he owed the world, I don't think he owed the Christian community an apology, because I'm not going to back down or swallow my pride for any child that I have created. His son is 33 years old, and he tried to mock his father, and in turn, it turned on him. So for him to have to feel like because he's a gospel singer, he has to apologize to keep his stature, you don't owe anybody an explanation.
Exactly.
But there we go with that judgment of the public. You know, evidently he felt like he had to save face or worry about other people's opinions. And I can understand it a little bit. Don't y'all understand it a little bit? Like you kind of have to worry about how other people look at you.
You know
Especially if you hold a high, if you hold a
me.
high position, then you have to.
Well, I was
Because
going to say,
people are looking at you.
You know how, okay, for instance, we had the talk about me not caring about what people think of me. Now, if I was in their position, I probably would care. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, Tanya, they have to care to a certain, you know what I'm saying? They have to care because they got people looking up to them. They got people looking at them. You know what I'm saying? They got people coming to them. But I do also agree with Cynthia. Kirk Franklin don't owe nobody no apology. Like he said, him and his son been going through this for a long time. And if for a moment you feel the need after I done clothed you, I done fed you, I done helped bring you into this world, think that you could disrespect me just because I'm that pastor, Negro, I am still human, I am still a man, and I'll whoop your ass like one. Period. You know what I'm saying? That's period.
That's the bigger message.
Yeah, because in the Bible, what does it say? If you spare the rod, you spoil the child. That child is spoiled. He needed his behind spanked a long doggone time ago. You know what I'm saying?
That right there, though, I think is what is humanizing about the man. You understand what I'm trying to say? He is on this pedestal. He is looked up as, you know, maybe on a different level or whatever, but he still brought a human side to him, a real side to him. And I'm like, that I wish more people would just be like that instead of being in that position thinking that you are perfect and round and everything. There's no raw, rough edges. You understand what I'm saying? No, I cussed my son out because that's my son. I'm human. I'm a daddy. I'm a parent.
Yeah.
You know,
they act like they can't do no wrong. Like if they crush an eggshell the wrong way, people own them. You know what I'm saying? But you know, and I would rather follow somebody. If I had to follow, I would rather follow somebody who shows me that they're still human. Who will sit up there when you get out of line, get on your behind it with nobody say. You know what I'm saying? Rather than trying to follow somebody or believe in somebody that I find out later on, you sneaking behind, you know, down there, you got a girl down under the pool pit giving you head, or you and the mistress back there in the conference room
just saying.
Getting it on. You see what I'm saying?
Wow. Just saying.
I'm just saying though. You know what I'm saying? I would rather look up somebody who is putting it all out on the forefront rather than somebody who's hiding, because that person that's hiding it is a dangerous soul.
What was you about to say, Sway?
I was gonna say, now that's how I remember. That's how church used to be back then. But nowadays, church is very more open. This is very more open. Now I can't lie and say I've been to church this year because I haven't. I did go last year, but I haven't been this year. But it's so everything's different. I mean, with even with the dress, I heard how you said something about the dress. They leave the club and go straight to church in the shortest dresses and everything else. Don't nobody judge anybody anymore. It's everything, you know, it's acceptable now.
Do y'all think that it's the older generation that are doing that versus, since you said that things have changed and church is different now, or the people that are about religion or whatever, do you think that it's the older generation that's more judgmental and critical?
Yes.
Critical. I couldn't get it out. You know,
I'm sorry. I didn't.
Yes. Well, I know. You know what? No, you know what?
Cutting out. I didn't hear the question.
She said, "Do you think it's the older people that in the church that are more critical of how you dress or how you come to church?"
More because Swalo said that now the church has changed. It's different. The younger generation, everybody's just showing up and whatever.
I cannot say that, because if you go to Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church in Plano, Pastor Joshua, he will tell you, I don't care how you are. You can come in here with the smallest clothes, but by the time I finish preaching to you, you're not going to even want to wear that stuff anymore. He wants all the sinners to come in so he can help them. See, but that's what's wrong with a lot of these churches. They want to turn their backs on people that really need them. But he opened his arms to everybody, no matter what you have on. And if your dress is too short, he will politely have somebody to come and put something over your lap because you need Jesus in your life. He's not going to kick you out.
Lord have mercy.
Let me read this comment. Okay, Alicia Arnold says, God sees all, and when we will have to stand accountable on Judgment Day, my motto, treat everyone with love and respect and keep it moving.
I agree with her.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, then let's see what Lakeisha got to say. Lakeisha Hawkins says, people walk around worrying about what others see and think about them, but not worried about the facts that God see all. How am I going to worry about what someone else see me do, knowing that at the end of the day, they can't save me? The pastor, the bishop, usher, choir director, and etc. are just people, and they make mistakes just like you. Amen.
That's the realest there.
Amen. That's for
that
real.
one right there. That part.
Well,
So
that was one of the reasons. That was one of the reasons why I stopped going to church. Because I got tired of the judgment all the time. You know, when I walk in, I know you're looking at me, you're saying that's gonna be my mission. You know, she's gay and I'm gonna stop her from being gay. You know, I'm gonna throw some holy water on her, or she listened to this type of music, or you know, she needs to be in church every Sunday. Well, the way I was raised up, devotion was in the home. You know what I'm saying? Church started at home.
That's
you know what I'm saying? We got around,
right
we lit
there.
our candles, we prayed, we spoke in tongues, we did our prayer requests every night. That was church for me. Yeah. I didn't need a church house to to help me to reach God.
You know what? This is that.
Judy.
Now that you say something, go ahead, Frank.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say for Judy, C, Swalo, and Cynthia. Do y'all remember in Sherman when they used to have them Bible studies out in the projects? It was always the little Bible studies, and they had little snacks or whatever. And then on Sundays, remember that bus that used to come by and pick everybody up for church?
Yes,
I do.
Hey, and they okay. Oh, you don't remember that? Okay, well,
I don't know nothing about that shit.
And I
That's
remember,
I'm like, oh.
hey, and I remember they used to come get us for church, and I remember like we used to go and like you remember they have that the youth night when they would play games and do all, you know what I'm saying, and do all that. You know, they don't have that no more. They're too busy pushing the kids away rather than drawing them in. You know what I'm saying? It's like they done failed at the mission. You know, they think denying and pushing them away is gonna get them closer to God. That what they fail to realize, no matter how much they preach, they further away from God than they think.
To me, churches done turned into banks.
A show.
It's all about the money.
Oh yeah.
It's all about the money and the checks that you can write. That's what church has turned into to me. Even though the pandemic was going on, they still wanted these people to pay their tithes and offering. Even though the pandemic was going on and people were losing their jobs, they were still wanting people to send in their money, their tithes, and sow seeds and this, that, and the third. Mm-hmm. God don't want you to sow no seed. God don't want you to pay no usher, nobody to sing in the choir and all that, and let your children go hungry or let your family go without. And nowhere in the Bible, my biggest problem with Christianity, nowhere in the Bible, I'm waiting for somebody to show me where it says God says pay 10% of your tithing. He asked for no money. Your 10% is how you help somebody on the street. Your 10% is how you help somebody in need. He ain't asked you for no dollar. And I'm hoping somebody in my family is watching this, because I mean every word I'm saying. I wish you would call name. I wish you would. I want somebody.
Come on.
Yes.
And you know what? I might have to light me a cigarette on this one.
Hey, Sin, I just got through talking to somebody about that the other day when I said, you know, we sit up here and when you go to church and you putting all this money in, you steady. Remember when you first started, when the first church was first built, the pastor was driving a Pinto. Now you look up, you don't get
driving a limo,
Lexus. You feel me? A Lexus, a Benz, a Mercedes. All of a sudden, they rebuilding the church, girl. They made it big. They done put all these big old pretty lights up in it and everything. And Miss Georgia over here done got a couple of new outfits. You know, the first lady and all this. And okay,
I remember when the pastor lived in the church. I remember when the pastor lived in a house that the church owned. These pastors today ain't living in no house that no church owned, baby. They living in mansions, okay? Not a house. They living in mansions. They got butlers and things like that washing their clothes. And I'm not passing judgment, to each his own. Please don't think that I'm passing judgment on any pastor. I'm just saying what I grew up seeing in Grayson County and in a little bit of Dallas, Texas. Them preachers was in the church home. And if you left that church, you left that home. It ain't like that today. And I'm not saying with time, over time, things don't change, but God didn't want them to be driving no Jaguars and Lexuses and BMW, and you sitting around driving a putt-putt with a green door. It wasn't wrote down like that.
Well,
this is.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's just like a lot of fake representation. You know what I'm saying? You're putting out and saying that, you know, you're about this and you're about that, and we should follow you, and everybody pour in and give and you're helping to build up our community and congregation and this and that and other, but it's really not that way. I mean, the money's not going towards what it's supposed to. Not in my mind. I don't think it ever has. It does somewhat probably, but not all the way. But I don't know. It kind of makes people, I'll say people, but I'll say me, not want to attend as much. I don't want to be a part of it, because this whole topic for me is kind of crazy, because I look at church and I look at people, pastors, all the people who have been in churches that I've attended, and I get mixed messages. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming because I stopped going for a while because I was baptized originally into Mormonism when I was young. I was like 8. You know, I didn't really know anything about church. My mama we lived in Utah, and that was just what it was. And as I grew up and got more into religion, and I was like, this is not really a religion that I want to be a part of. I'd rather just choose something else. So I started following a different way. But all the churches I would end up going to, when I would go into it, I would get a certain representation of what they stood for. Come as you are. You know, you don't have to worry about your dress and your clothing. You don't have to be a part of any of the communities or the different activities. Just come. But it always would change into something different. You know, it would be a judgment on my family, like our social status, because we didn't have enough money to always put into the different activities or whatever. So then we were looked at differently, or our clothing, because my mom and them couldn't afford a different church we ended up going to, because we didn't have all the different type of clothes or whatever to wear. You know what I'm saying? So then I would feel funny, or our family would be made to feel funny. So we would stop going there. And even as an adult, you know, I went to another church now. You know, I'm a lesbian, been one for 18, however many years, and it's just like these people are like, come to the church. They almost
try to bait you in to go in for the attack.
You know what I mean? And my spirit at the time is like, I need Jesus. I need the Spirit. I need Him. I want my relationship to grow. I'm seeking someone to help me get closer to what I need. You get what I'm saying? So I'm coming to this church. I'm putting my trust into this family. Like, y'all help me. I'm looking for help. But when I get there, then I see, and it's like so ugly to see the change. Like, now I got judgment on, now I got to fix you. I got to change you. Thank you for coming. Yeah, keep coming, but I got to fix you because something's wrong with you, and I got to fix you in my project. And so now I don't want to go.
Now, y'all remember when Bible study and stuff, I don't know if y'all do, but okay, as a kid, sometimes Bible study would be in the home, what Judy just said. Y'all remember that? Did either of y'all ever go through the stages where your parents wanted you to recite the 10 Commandments or anything like that, or tell them the books of the Bible, anything like that? That's the type of stuff that I did with my kids. And like I told my kids, you will not get in trouble for what you don't know, just so long as you know that there is a higher being. That's the most important thing that I can teach you as a parent. And I do think teaching that type of faith, just like any educational thing, it comes from home. If you don't ground the person from home up, they will end up falling for any flock out there that they can leak their soul into. It starts at home, is all I'm saying. The pastor can't tell your child nothing that you can't tell them yourself. They can't. And Tanya, I do understand you about having to go from church to church because you don't fit in. I remember my grandmother sitting down counting out 50 pennies for all 12 of her grandkids to put in the damn altar plate.
I remember that too, child. Every Sunday. I remember that. Sometimes 10 pennies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, Mama, what you want me to do with this? I'm gonna be embarrassed with this in church. Now, what am I doing as a kid? Worried about being embarrassed about putting only 10 cents.
You better
when
do
they come
it.
around with the plate, the offering plate. Amber says, I stopped going to church because they preach the book, not teach the book. I love that statement.
Very nice.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yep. It seemed like a lot of times people tend to sway the word the way they want it to be. You know what I mean?
They make the Bible
so
fit
long
their
as it fits them. Mm-hmm. So as
Okay,
long
so
as
y'all
it fits
know I'm
them.
not gonna keep sitting over here being quiet, right?
Go ahead.
Swalo, come on, jump in.
Okay. So I don't like Christians. I don't. Christians are fake.
Just come on out there and just say how you feel. Then
this is it. I grew up in the house with Christians, you know, and I was told I was a Christian. But once I start realizing that Christians are basically hypocrites, then Christians are full of shit. Christians live a lie. That's when I had to go ahead and say, let me go ahead and start looking at things my own way. So I tell people I'm a spiritual person. I don't claim Christianity, because when you look at the average Christian, like I said, hypocritical. Every church is not for everybody. I went to IBOC, and y'all know about IBOC. I went there 3 times. Every time I walked out of that church, I was pissed off. I was mad. I'm looking at these. I'm like, these old motherfuckers need to get their ass out. This is in my mind before I even walk out of the church. I'm supposed to be better walking out of the church than I was walking in the church. But going in this church, I was worse. Every church is not for everybody. I see the comments and hear people, well, I stopped going to church for this reason. You stop going to church because you don't use this. That church is not for you. You got to find the church that's for you. That might not even be the religion for you. You just know.
Let me ask you, Swillo, I had to jump in real quick before you leave what you said. What made you upset about the church? What got you upset when you was in a church?
That's just it. Pastor Ricky Rush was preaching, and something came over me. I don't know whatever he was preaching about every time. And I called my sister. I was like, Sean, I don't know what's going on with me. I said, girl, I think the devil done took over my body. I said, because I done left this church and I'm supposed to be better. I said, but I'm mad as fuck leaving this church and I'm in the parking lot cussing. and you don't
know why you were mad?
I went to that church 3 times. That church is not for me. If you don't get things out of church, because you're supposed to get something, you have to feel something. When you are in the right church, you feel it all through your body, from the top of your head all the way down to the toes down to the bottom of your feet. But if that's not the church for you, you will get absolutely not jack out of it. That's why some people say, I gotta go to this church, or okay, so like some people they belong to a church just because that's the family church. So they feel obligated that that's where they have to go because they don't want to disappoint the family. I don't give a damn about disappointing the family because it's not about family. My family's not the one that's going to get me into heaven. And see, that's where everybody got it twisted. It's about show. It's about look. It's about family. It's about keeping things in the family. But who's going to break the generational curse to make things better? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going into my motivational speaking right now. But that's it.
But so did somebody judge you there, or
nobody said anything? It was his whole sermon. It was his preaching. Nobody said anything to me. Everybody was polite. It was him. He's not the preacher for me. To me, I guess he's too immature. Because Ricky Rush is he's more like of a preacher for kids, for somebody that's just now starting out. I'm more advanced than that. I don't need you Humpty Dumpty went over the wall and all that. No, I don't need all of that.
And in that respect, I think that like we've said with religion in general, when people are hearing the pastor or whoever speak something or read something, everybody has a different comprehension of it. 10 people can read the same exact passage and come up with 10 different whole understandings of it. So what that pastor was saying, he's not the fit for you, like you said, and you realize that. So that But I was trying to figure out if there was like a judgmental thing or in his style of delivery. Are you saying that maybe he's not representing himself to be a true actual person? He's faking or showing some other side, or I mean,
I don't know, but it's like as soon as he started to preach, my whole demeanor changed, and then I sat there and I listened to him the whole entire time.
You know, some holy rollers might say that was the demon coming out of you.
Oh snap!
But you know what? They can say that. They can honestly say that. But that's the only church that has ever happened to me yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me get this comment. Lakeisha Hawkins says, this is one of the biggest problems that church people have. Too many people worry about what others are doing in the church and not focusing on God himself. I admit it is a little nerve-wracking, but I don't go to church with expectations of others rather than what God wants. And nay, Isaiah 6:13, Leviticus 27:32, Genesis 28:32 does say, yeah, I can barely see, does say give a tenth of your tithing. I don't give and worry about what they do with my money, because at the end of the day, they have to answer to God for that, not me. Yeah, Lakeisha, Nate was saying that pretty much that it doesn't say give money.
Monetary
thing. She's saying that your tithe could be giving your time. It could be given some canned goods, but she's saying, why does the church always feel like it has to be money given? Because the Bible's not saying give your 10% in green cash. You know what I'm saying? Dinero. Why can't I come to church with some canned goods and put it in your offering plate?
And if anybody's out there has ever seen that somewhere, please, hey, let us know. Let us know about that. Share that. I'll tell you what, this topic
is that what you were saying?
That's exactly what I was saying, but I'm glad she looked it up, because now when I go back and watch the show, I'm gonna go find this that she wrote and highlight it, because I do my homework. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that I'm missing and somebody else can give me a word or show me how I can go find it, I have a very teachable spirit. I really do. Now I have a no nonsense attitude, like I ain't gonna put up with no bull crap. But I have a teachable spirit, and if I'm wrong, I'm willing to correct my wrong and stand on whatever I said or did. I don't have a problem with that.
I gotta say, a lot of people, they gotta make themselves more approachable, especially with this younger generation. That's what turns a lot of people away from church. I know it'll turn me away if you give me this whole list of rules telling me that I can't listen to my R&B music. I only can listen to gospel music. You know what I'm saying? But
I can't wear lipstick.
I can't do this and I can't do that. A whole bunch of I can'ts.
Those are cults, right? Those are cults,
that's
right?
What that's what it sounds like. That's what it comes out.
It stops being about the religion part and starts being about a rules or a set structure or something like that. It's no longer about the word or whatever that was supposed to be given at that point. Where there's a whole set checklist of stuff you can't do.
Have any of y'all got into it with your family members behind religion?
I mean, I think that's everywhere.
Far as I don't know,
wanting to live a certain type of way,
differences, or the way that you live.
I ain't never got into it with nobody behind my religion, but I seen my grandma slap the hell out of my uncle about her religion when Suelo said that she don't like Christianity. My uncle came home from prison and he told my grandmother that he was a Muslim, and he came in her house with that Quran Bible, and she let him sit his Bible down in peace on her coffee table, but she went and got the King James Version Holy Bible and slapped him across the head and said, and I quote, "In this house we serve the Lord and the Lord only, because Islam ain't gonna get you into that heaven. So you ain't
done."
I swear to God, Nettie Struggs did that, and I laughed so hard. And my uncle came in, he was really considering this lifestyle, but because my grandmama and how she grew up in the church, she was like, that ain't nothing. You is of the devil, and you fit to get the devil out of my house.
Jesus, Lord, Jesus,
Lord. If I'm lying, please type in and tell him I'm lying. But I know my uncle came home from prison, and my grandmama put the Holy Bible right upside his head. He was mad, boy. He was mad.
Look.
Okay, so let me clarify this. This is the reason why I don't like Christians. Y'all remember back in the day when people used to wear those lanyards, WWJD, whatever. What would Jesus do? Okay, so people wore those faithfully. what would Jesus do? But you would let somebody sleep on the street. Jesus wouldn't do that. You let a person go hungry for days. Jesus wouldn't do that. You know, but you want to say, I'm a Christian, but then you'll turn your back on somebody, you'll talk about them like a dog just because they are down. Jesus wouldn't do that. That's why I don't like to say I'm a Christian, because if somebody's down, I'm gonna help them. I met a dude, a young man in a gym. We met. We were around each other 2 times. I opened up my door to him and said, you know what? There's no need for you to sleep in your vehicle. You need somewhere to stay. I open my door to you. And he was like, but you don't know me. And I'm like, so what? You're the same age as my child, my oldest niece. And if she was going somewhere to start her life over, I would want somebody to help her. And I had a trip coming up. I was going to South Padre. And I left this young man in my apartment. I didn't know him from shit. He could have did anything to me. But that's what I'm saying. I don't claim Christianity, because a Christian wouldn't have did that. A Christian would have been like, shit, that motherfucker gonna kill me. I don't know nothing about him. Jesus never turned his back on nobody. I don't give a damn who it is. I can't claim Christianity because Christians turn their back on each other. What the hell you think?
Some Christians.
I'm about to say some not all.
The majority, the majority. But the majority are still, even those that won't turn their back, it's still just a handful of those that will just drop and say, here, it's yours. I don't care. I don't need it. Here.
Suelo, I gotta jump in and say I can't put that label on Christians, because I'm gonna say it's just people, period. It's hard to find one good person out of probably 500. So I'm just going to say it's just people.
Yeah, out of 10.
I can't.
So not necessarily. Just
I said out of 500. Out of 500, it's good. You would be lucky to find one genuine person.
Well, everybody that I know wants to claim Christianity, so that's why I'm like. So I don't really know too much of any like different religions and stuff like that.
I'll tell you all what. This is something, an eye-opening situation that we're talking about, because I came into this with a gripe of, why is it that we keep calling them holy rollers, but I hate to use that term, but people that are in that situation, passing judgment too quickly on folks. You know what I'm saying? I came into it with that type of mindset, but after hearing y'all's different perspectives, it's almost like, well, maybe I could understand why they act the way they do sometimes, because if they have to live in the closet all the time because of people passing judgment on them, like going back to that video where we showed the pastor that was, interacting with the guy. It's like, if he felt able to come out to everybody and tell everybody that, hey, I like men, I'm saying, this is what I prefer, without all the extra judgment that would have came with it. Maybe he wouldn't have had to live that type of life. Nobody wants to have to live in the closet like that. That's not fair.
What church is going to accept a gay preacher? A gay pastor.
There needs to be more of that, because that's just it's a waste of time. But going back, no, wait a minute.
So is that a sin for them to get up in the church and be preaching and knowing inside that they're gay?
Is it a sin? No. Yeah. To stand up and to know inside you're one way, but then you're preaching.
Yeah, but you're putting on this fake facade in front of the church. You know what I mean?
But just saying that's a sin is a sin in itself, because that's being judgmental. See, that's what I'm saying.
You got to be free. People have to be free.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When people say, "Oh, that's a sin," you're sinning right there, because you're being judgmental. Don't you understand that?
You know what? Somebody just wrote in the comment, y'all, and it's really funny. They said, but people judge people always. People always judge people. It's not just Christianity, people, period. And that's God's honest truth. That is the God's honest truth. The human nature, including the pastor, the deacons, did you see brother so-and-so? Did you see sister so-and-so? Child, that child didn't do such and such and such and such. Instead of helping them come along. And even in my situation and I'm not trying to get out Christianity, but I have been judged because of my disability, or because of the educational level where I went to college but didn't get a college degree. So the person that wrote that, human nature, it's in people's human nature to judge. We
all do it.
Yes,
we all do it. And sometimes we don't even realize we do.
Nope.
But the point here is that the reason why we tie it in with the holy rollers is because we say they won't admit that they do it.
Yeah,
that's the difference. They can't admit it to themselves.
Like Francis said, if you would just, you would be more apt to follow them, go to their church, hear their words of wisdom, hear their teachings, follow and understand, or be a part of this community or congregation or whatever, if we could know that you're just like me.
Yes. You're more approachable if you can show me that you are human.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tad.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen. Okay, like y'all just said, which I do not disagree. As humans, that's something that we do by nature. I think where the problem that comes in is the fact that you have people in the church, people behind the pulpit, who will sit there and claim to want to help, but then they turn around, like you say, and they're judging. It's the fact of we're not there. I don't think they're saying be like Christ, but be Christ-like. There's a difference. Not being Christ, but being Christ-like. Meaning you should love thy neighbor. Thou shalt not judge. No matter what they're going through, be there to help them, lend a helping hand. That's what he did. He didn't judge nobody. But people, humans, we can't do that. That's the hardest thing for us to do. We're so busy looking at everybody else and downing them because we are not right with self.
Now you just said it, but you could do it if you were right within yourself.
Yeah,
but if you're not right within yourself, then you can't.
No,
you should just be free.
In order for you to get to that point, you have to get in touch with you. Once you get in touch with you, it doesn't matter what the next person is doing, as long as you know that you're doing good, you doing the right thing. Don't nobody else in the world. It don't matter what they think or what they say. Because on that day, when you placed in that casket, you will be placed alone. When you go in front of that gate, you are going alone. We're not going to go as a group.
Nope, we won't.
Okay, let me read this right here. Well, hold up.
Who we got joining us today? Who we got joining?
Hey!
All right.
Hey, Miss Davis.
Hello.
I bet you jumped in here because you got something to say.
I'm listening to everybody, and I'm not judging anybody or anything. This is a good topic, because I know as those of us who are in the life, who we are as lesbians or whatever our choice is. I was listening to a couple of things that you all say, and I mentioned in there that it's, I don't know if you read the thing already. I was saying that when she I can't have my glasses on. Was it CeeLo? Is that your name? Was saying
Swalo.
I was understanding where she was coming from by saying, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can't hear you. You breaking up.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God. I'm breaking.
Now we can.
I'm like,
yes, Nicole. Yes, we can hear you, Nicole. Yes.
Saying with Christians, or I get what she's saying with Christians, or different things. I was saying those are doctrines, and those doctrines are what we grew up on. Like she was saying, her grandmother was like, in my household, this is what we do. Yeah, we're all come from those different things. Where like my mother was Muslim, I'm Christian. My father could be Catholic, and we're all. Those are all doctrines, but at the end of the day, it's who we are, who we answer to. We're accountable for our own judgments and our actions.
Yeah.
And I believe, like I said, I'm a strong believer of spirit. I'm a strong believer that we are. That's my thing right there. I roll on that we are not wrestling flesh and blood, but spirit. So I said, somebody judged me in my church one time and said, when they found out about me and Jay, and they said, "Oh, what are you doing? Like, that's wrong." And I was like, "Well, why are you judging me?" I said, "Is God not a spirit?" And it says, in order for us to come to him, we got to come to him in spirit and truth. And if we come to him in spirit and truth, that means we have to be of spirit. I said, so that means that if I'm a spirit and he's a spirit, there's no gender tied to this. So there's no gender, meaning there's no gender, female nor male. When we come to spirit, it says spirit. So if I'm coming to him, I'm coming to him in that. And they didn't have nothing to say. They just kind of looked at me like, wow. And I said, now,
yeah, that's deep. That's deep.
Judged according to our hearts. Where does our heart have a label on it, a gender? So
it doesn't.
I understand where everybody's coming from their point of view. But but that's where I'm coming from. And those that know I'm a strong believer, I'm a prayer. I'm just that person. But that's because my personal relationship with him, that has nothing to do with doctrine. That, like I said, the church is not a building, but it's the body. It's within what I take it in. So that's why I was saying, to each his own. I respect everybody's opinion. And it's sad that we get judged like that. But me and her can go to a church. We couldn't get married when we wanted to get in church because I love, people looked at us like that. And and it's sad because I see where, like sister said, I don't, at first I was like, ooh, she said she hates Christians. But then again, I couldn't be mad at her when she explained it, because she was giving her opinion on what most people today look at. They judge.
That's true.
Or dealt with. So they have a strong opinion about it. She's not wrong for saying that. Neither is anybody else wrong for their opinion. Now, some people are like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that or he said that. But that's to each his own. And according to how we feel, that doesn't take away and say she ain't praying at home or she don't have a relationship. She just
gave a
title of where she feels. I love the fact that Cynthia said when she about when that other person told her about tithes. Now she's on point with tithes was not talking about cash in that time of day, but it was talking about giving your tenths only according to what you give unto God. If he blessed you and it was animals or whatever it was, you giving that unto
10% back.
So because we're in a new era and we're about finances, yes, you're right. We can do cans of beans, we can give food, we can give up our time. Because we didn't have a church to go pay our tithes. So I passed it on to my neighbor. I passed it on to other people. That was giving of my tithes. Now, if I want to give 10%, I'm a believer of tithes. I'm sorry, I am a believer of tithes. I will give my finances to it. But if I don't have a building and a doctrine to give it to, that's like me saying,
then you find another way to do that.
I pay my tithes this month to a church. I'm gonna bless her with that. Or
that's right.
That, or bless somebody else with that. That's of me praying on it first and saying, God, I give this to you. So
yes, ma'am.
It's strong.
Well, Nicole, we appreciate you jumping in.
Say about it.
Yes, we appreciate you jumping in. Thank you so much for jumping in.
Right.
Thank you. She explained for everybody.
Nice,
but that was good though. That was good. But
yes,
see, like she said, she's a spiritual person herself, so she understands. Then that's a good thing, I mean, for her to be spiritual and she understands where I'm coming from. Because a lot of people, like I said, especially when you get talking about you're spiritual, some people's like, well, what's the difference? What's the difference? What's the difference between being a Christian and being spiritual? Well, it's a mind process thought that's different.
That was interesting that she said that she pointed out that the spirit has no gender.
But that's what I'm saying. That she understands that, but some people don't.
Yeah. But maybe that'll help. Maybe that'll help as far as the judgment thing. You know what I'm saying? If people could look at it as your spirit's connecting instead of, or look at that aspect of it instead of the physical. So yeah.
You know what? I always say that with religion, you can't learn religion in a lifetime. You can't. It's just too big.
Never will.
You know what I'm saying? And so when people come and try to preach to me, if you ain't read all 75 plus Bibles, you can't tell me nothing. I'm sorry. I'm just going to go on what I know, what's been instilled in me. Like I said, religion is just too huge for anybody to sum it up in one lifetime.
Yeah, but how often does the Bible change? I mean, certain, because so now
no, the Bible always changes.
Well, I mean, now you have the New Testament.
I was saying that there's more than one Bible.
Right, but now, back then you had the Old Testament. Now you have the New Testament. So 30, 100 years from now, what are you gonna have? It's gonna, and then everybody, it's all gonna be different. That's just like when I watch Creflo Dollar every morning, and that's one thing he said. He was like, we can't keep living in the Old Testament. We got to come to the New Testament. Everything's different now. So I mean,
I was speaking of all nations, all the Bibles. That's what I was talking about.
You said that because what you saying is, Sela was talking about. I say it right. She's already identifying how she has her own personal relationship. She said she watches Creflo Dollar. She's not excluding herself from her spirituality, what she's doing within herself. So people, like I said, that's how I understand. It's our personal testimony in our relationship, what we go through in life. And as we go through it, we start learning him for ourselves. So it doesn't matter if somebody came to you and told you, Muslims know their stuff. They'll come up to you and tell you. They know because they study their stuff. Christians should know their stuff. Those are the doctrines, each one. Catholics know their stuff. But if you're unsure who you are in your personal relationship with God, you'll be tossed and fro. So it's about having your personal relationship, understanding him for yourself, of your personal testimonies of what he brought you through and where you're going. And then you won't be unmovable from that. You will be steadfast and unmovable because your feet will be
true.
Amen,
that's so true.
amen, y'all.
That is so true.
Hopefully that leads people to stop feeling like they have to hide.
Yes. Say that again.
No, I said hopefully that just leads people to better feeling like they don't have to hide.
Okay, y'all, we running out of time here, but I want to go to Taz, and I want to go to Nate, and I want to ask y'all, do y'all have anything else to say before I close?
Thank you, Ms. Nicole, for coming on. I appreciate it, baby, with all love, honor, and respect to you. But I just think if you're gonna have any type of relationship, seek him for yourself. Nobody else can seek him for you. You have to have that relationship for yourself. And I've taught that to my kids from the day I birthed them. It's nothing like going to him yourself. The same way you sit up and have a conversation with any friend or family member, it's the same way you can sit up and talk to Christ. And he has an understanding better than any human person on this planet. He has an understanding and a forgiving heart better than anybody. So when they come to you and tell you this is what you should do, what you should have been doing, and you ain't going to get into heaven because this, and this, just seek him for yourself. My message is seek him for yourself.
Thank you, Taz, on it.
All I would like to say once again, like Cynthia said, JD and Nicole, thank y'all for coming on. Please, if anybody who's watching, who's just simply listening, these are our opinions. This is how we feel. It's not telling you to, distance yourself from your church, or you know what I'm saying? That's on you. Whatever it is you choose to do, that's on you. These are our opinions. These are personal experiences. So please don't take it to heart. We're not down in no religion whatsoever. But this is what we prefer. This is how we have seen it being done. So these are our issues, that the conflict we have with that society. But always, like I always say, just remember, do unto others as you have them do unto you.
That's it. Thanks to everybody who jumped in the comments and shared your stories, shared your points of view. Giving Miss Nicole, JD, thank y'all for coming on again and giving your points of view. Everybody on here, we respect everyone's opinions and situations. I mean, this was a topic. I'm glad we were able to talk about it and share.
And hopefully we open some folks' eyes who are, heavy in the church. So they'll know how they can build better relationships with us normal people who aren't really heavy in the church. You know what I'm saying?
We just all got to find what works best for us, and that's just what it is. It's not about what was instilled in us, because sometimes that's what really messes us up.
All right, y'all. Make sure y'all go like, share, subscribe, like always, and make sure that y'all tune back in on Thursday, 7:30, the same time. This has been Str8 Talk No BS. Y'all, we love y'all. Have a good night.